Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's practice is all about building confidence and self belief. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, take a rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to begin today's practice with a modified Tibetan rites A series. Find your way to a tall stand. Middle of the mat is a good place to be. Find a comfortable summer seating with your feet hip-width distance apart or slightly wider. Open up your arms into a T-frame and begin by giving me a half spin. Bending and pivoting on one foot, turning away from your pivoting leg. Stay here or start to build confidence by coming into a full 360-degree spin. To help hone yourself, find a focal point on the wall in front of you and bring your eye back to that point every time you complete one full circle. Make sure that you're working clockwise if you're in the southern hemisphere, so that you're moving with gravity. Let's do 2 more spins, then we'll center ourselves by coming to a high prayer position and looking at our thumbnails. Keep looking at those thumbnails and find your way down onto the knees, releasing the bridges of your feet. Drop your prayer hands just in front of your heart. On an inhale, cup your bum, bump your hips forward, and then come back to your restacked kneel and start to play dynamically. Starting to warm up and limber up the back as you come into a camel. Every time you bring your hands to prayer, you drop your chin towards your chest. Stay here cupping your bum every time you come into your camel, or start to slide your hands higher up to the lower back and see if you can get more curve into the spine. Using our Tibetan rites to wake up the energy systems in the body, to limber up the muscles, to get the blood going, to lubricate the joints. Then find your way from here to a tall staff seat at the top end of the mat. Start by just sitting tall, shoulders stacked over hips, and then leaning back. Start to build confidence by bending the knees, grounding the feet every time you lean back. And then build another layer of confidence by floating your belly up to the sky, coming to a tabletop before you return to your staff pose. Maybe starting to float the arms off the mat every time you find yourself in staff. Let's do one more, and then we'll make our way from here onto the back. And we'll start with the knees bent and the soles of the feet connected to the floor, floating the arms overhead. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, tilt your pelvis to 12. Give me a leg and a chest lift, floating your legs into table, arms come alongside the hips. And then find your way back to the mat and begin to move dynamically with this bent leg line. Exhale as you come up, Inhale as you reground softly. Stay here or start to build confidence by extending the legs and doing the same exercise with an extended leg line. Drawing your legs up to 90 and then softly either regrounding them or hovering arms and legs just off the mat. One more. Then start to bend your legs and bring yourself into a spinal roll. It could either be an east-west rock through the lower back, or you could begin to move more vigorously in a north-south fashion, rocking up into a seat on the mat. Hollowing out your belly, rounding out your back, maybe starting to add an extended leg line. Every time you find yourself in the seat, so think forward fold. And then if you're feeling really confident today, you can add a pike up onto the shoulders every time you roll onto the back, supporting your lower back or working without support, pressing your arms into the mat. So do what feels intuitive for your body today. Let's do two more. We'll end in that stop seat, and then we'll sweep the legs behind us and we'll find our way to a 4-point kneeling plank on the mat. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Tuck your toes under, come into a bear hold by pulling the knees off the floor, and then down dog it. Begin to alternate between the bear and the down dog. If you need to, you can tap your knees softly to the floor every time you come into that tabletop line. Stay here or start to build confidence by working with an extended leg line, so think down dog, and then come through the plank line with control and think up dog. Making sure that your core, front, back, and side chain is engaged to support your back every time you come through the plank line to find your up dog. Inhale for the up dog, exhale for the down dog. We're going to end in the down dog frame, hold it. Try to make those heels heavy to the floor, start to stretch and lengthen through the back chain of the legs. Find your way from here into child pose, and let's try to keep a parallel leg line today. So feet stacking directly behind the knees, if you can manage it. Take a bow to the mat. And then begin to oscillate between child pose and kneel forward into a modified up dog. Making sure that you're not collapsing the weight of your body between the two shoulders, So pressing the mat strongly away with your hands and keeping your core engaged. We're going to end in child pose, and we'll release the elbows, forearms and wrists for a minute, maybe taking a little wiggle through the fingers. Then back to 4-point kneeling, stabilize through the line of the trunk and float the right arm out and up. Lock that height in. Slide the left leg out and up, lock that in, and pause here in the stretch, looking for length on the diagonal. Keep your left leg floating and ground your right arm. Add a push-up or a modified chaturanga by squeezing your elbows in. It could be a small bend, it could be a big bend, thinking chin and chest to floor. Back to table. Tuck the toes of the left foot under, ground the foot, and bring the right knee off the floor. Keep that one-legged plank and start to play with a hydrant on the right, lifting the leg out to the side of the room and back. End in the open position, hold it, and then take a big lizard step out to the side of the right hand, angling the foot out at 45. Stay here, maybe gently rocking the weight forwards and backwards, looking for that opening into the groin. If you need to release the back knee at any stage, do so. Maybe end with the weight pulling back into the back heel or just pause there for a moment. Then release the back knee, but keep the toes tucked under and find your way onto the tips of your fingers. Start to play with this high lizard, or rather low lizard, and then a walk back into a little hamstring stretch, thinking bum to heel and extending your front leg, peeling the toes off the mat, and start to walk. One lean forward, one lean back. End in your seat back, hold it. Back to your lizard line, planting your hands firmly on the mat. Start to tuck the back toes under and bring the back knee off the floor. Then sweep your lead leg back, and instead of coming to a full plank, we're going to try to tuck the right leg on top of the left and come into a modified one-legged plank. Holding our body line parallel to the floor, or building confidence by dropping through the plank line with control and coming to a modified one-legged up dog. Keep the cross of your legs and bleed your way into a down dog frame, thinking bum to sky. Hold that stretch. Then start to undo the cross of your legs and float the right leg up to the sky, finding a soft, reaching three-legged dog. We're going to use this three-legged dog to step forward into a warrior one. Think knee to nose, lunging forward to the inside of the right hand, wiggle walking your foot into position, and then re-anchoring the back foot at 45 and bleeding up. And today we're going to float the arms out at shoulder height. Taking a moment here in our warrior one to check the position of the back foot and check that both of your hip bones are looking to the front of the mat with your weight equally dispersed on the front and the back leg. Then start to straighten up the lead leg. Start to rotate to the open side, the left side of your body. Drop the lead arm down and open up the back hand towards the sky, coming into an open triangle. Lead hand on the inseam of the leg, or you can drop fingertips or hand to floor. You could even modify with a block on the floor for support. Stay here or start to challenge your sense of confidence by finding a rotation towards your lead leg. You could do hand to floor, you could do hand to the inside of the calf, or you could wrap around on the outside of the calf. Then start to build on that rotation by bending the lead leg, starting to peel the back heel off the floor, wiggle walking the foot further away, bringing the hands to prayer and trying to tap the left elbow to the outside of your right knee, coming into a high rotated lunge. Hold the position. Once you've found it, you can release the back knee to the floor if you need some support on the mat. Find your way from here back into 4-point kneeling and press back into child pose. Legs in a parallel line. Stay here for a breather or start to play. One child and one 4-point kneel, bumping your weight forward over the wrists, and then begin to move dynamically between child and this modified, let's call it a modified kneeling up dog. Start to set a rhythm and a pace that works for you. Giving yourself a few oscillations between the two. We'll end in child pose. Find your way back to 4-point kneeling and square up through the line of the trunk. Slide the left arm out and up, lock that height in, and do the same with the right leg. Pause here for a moment, looking for that delicious stretch through the line of the body. Keep your floating right leg, but anchor both arms. Think chaturanga, bending your elbows, making chin and chest to floor, and then breathe back. Anchor your floating leg and pull the left knee off the floor, keeping that one-legged plank, and then starting to add some playful hydrant open and close through the left side of the body. We're going to end in the open position. Hold it. Then take a lizard step out, angling that foot out, and maybe starting to seesaw the weight forwards and backwards. End in the backstroke. Hold it. Relax the back knee to the floor, and then start to play. One lean forward, one walk back into a hamstring stretch, trying to take a soft seat, bum to heel, extending the front leg, keeping the slight turnout position and peeling the toes off the mat. Start to find a moving rhythm that works for you. Playing where you're comfortable. Let's end in that seat, bum to heel, holding that hamstring stretch for a moment. Bleed your way back to your lizard line. We're going to sweep the left leg up and behind us, and we're going to tuck it over the right, coming into a one-legged plank. Stay here, body line nice and parallel to the mat, or begin to build confidence, engaging your core and dropping your hips through the plank line for a one-legged up dog. Then into a one-legged down dog. Start to disengage the cross of your legs and start to float the left leg up into a three-legged dog. Let's work with a soft reaching toe line today. We're going to use this three-legged dog to find a step forward to the inside of the left hand. We're going to set up our warrior one leg frame and we're going to float up, arms reaching out at shoulder height. Pause here in your warrior one, looking for strength, looking for control, and running through your checks. Start to straighten up your lead leg. Start to pivot towards the open side of the body and think T-frame through the arms as you set up your open triangle. Maybe rotating the triangle, starting to twist towards the lead leg. Then building on this rotation by beginning to bend the lead leg, pivoting on the back foot, bringing the heel off the mat, and then bringing the hands to prayer on the outside of the lead leg. Think opposite elbow to knee. Pause in your rotated high lunge. Find your way from here back to a 4-point kneeling frame. And when you're ready, begin to play, oscillating between child and a little kneeling up dog. Beginning to move with your breath, finding a rhythmic working flow between the two poses. We'll end in child, pausing there for a moment, maybe releasing the wrists if you need to. Back to 4-point kneeling. Stabilize the line of your trunk. Right arm floats out and up. Left leg floats out and up. Stay here in that long stretch or find your way into tiger by bending your floating back leg, reaching opposite hand to foot. Then hollowing out the line of your back slightly by kicking the foot up and away from your bottom and into your hand. Release that leg, anchoring both hands. And think chaturanga. Anchor your left leg. Bring your right knee off the floor. This time start to trace a big backward tracing circle with your right knee. Find your lizard step out on the right and start to play one high lizard, one sit back. And as you play, you could either tuck the toe under as you sit back, or you could release the whole foot and take a deeper seat back. End in your seat, working that hamstring on the lead leg. One-legged plank comes next, setting up your left leg as your base leg and then sweeping the right leg up and tucking it over the left. Nice and strong through the belly center. Then morphing into an up dog before bleeding into a down dog. Then start to float The right leg up, finding your three-legged dog. We're going to use the three-legged dog to do a step through into a warrior two this time. You're going to take that lunge step forward. You're going to angle out the back foot at 90, and you're going to windmill the arms open, setting up your warrior two line. This time your hips are looking to the left side, and your arms are long and reaching, palms parallel to the floor. Pause here for a moment, looking for strength in your warrior. Then release your right elbow to your right thigh and start to trace a big forward tracing circle with the left arm, lubricating that shoulder joint. We're going to end with that left arm as close to your ear as you can. Stay here, or find your way into a wide open triangle by straightening up the lead leg and pressing with the lead arm on the inside of the leg, or finding fingertips or hand to floor. See if you can bleed your way from this wide open triangle into a T-frame high lunge. Begin to bend your lead leg. Start to pivot, bringing the back heel off the floor. Start to rotate through the trunk and think aeroplane arms. You can relax hands to the lead thigh if you need to, and you can release the back knee if you need it. Then anchor that back foot again and find your way into a side angle, this time trying to place your hand on the floor, or finding a bind between the two legs, or building even more confidence by heel-toeing that back foot in and finding your way into bird of paradise, stopping when the back foot anchors underneath your hip, transferring the weight from the front leg to the back, and then gently peeling up. Maybe even extending the leg you're binding under. Wherever you're playing, take a step to the top end of the mat, giving your legs a shake out if you need it. We're going to come to a nice tall stand and then bleed our way into a one-legged mountain by pulling the right knee up. Maybe hugging the knee in towards your chest, Eka Pada Tadasana, staying here, or maybe adding a forward fold, holding onto your toes or the lead leg. Then finding your way to a tall stand and setting up a tree line on the left. Bending the left leg, thinking toes on the floor, hands to pray. If you're confident, slide the foot up slightly higher. Or you could bring that foot all the way to the top of your right thigh. Hands in prayer, creating a pocket of quiet control. Look for balance. Still your mind, still your body. Find your way to a tall mountain. Place your hands on the tops of your thighs. Big breath in to fold forward into table, pausing. Maybe releasing through the tabletop line, sliding your hands down, lower on the leg line, or hands to floor. Step back into your 4-point kneeling plank, and when you're ready, start to oscillate between child pose and your kneeling up dog. End in child. Maybe releasing your wrists. Find your way to 4-point kneeling, squaring up the line of your trunk. Float the left arm out and up. Float the right leg out and up. Stay here or find your way into tiger. Looking for that beautiful soft curve through the back. Then extend the right leg, hovering it, but anchoring both hands for your modified chaturanga. Then anchor your right leg and bring the left knee off the floor, starting to trace a hydrant circle this time with the left knee. Find your step out into your lizard line, and then start to play one high lizard, lean forward, and one monkey god, sit back. Either keeping the toes of the back foot tucked under, or starting to look for a deeper seat. Start to find your working rhythm. End in the hamstring stretch. Find your way from here into your one-legged plank, sweeping the left leg back and tucking it over the right. Maybe add an up dog curve through the spine. Then down dog it, keeping those legs tucked throughout. Unbind the cross of the legs and find your way into a three-legged dog, sweeping that left leg up behind you. Do a swing through step, setting up your warrior two line and wimbling your arms open, taking a moment to settle into the pose once you've found it. Start to relax, lead elbow to lead thigh and trace a big forward sweeping 360-degree circle through that back arm. Maybe end right arm nice and close to your right ear and stretch the right side of your body. Then straighten up the lead leg, coming into a wide open triangle. Thinking T-frame line through the arms. Then challenge your sense of confidence by coming into a high aeroplane-like lunge line. Back to your side angle. This time we're going to aim for the floor. Or we're going to bind both hands between the two legs, maybe even setting up bird of paradise by walking in that back leg, transferring the weight, and see if we can come into a standing balance, keeping the arms bound between the two legs, maybe looking to extend the lead leg. Wherever you are, take a step to the top end of the mat, shaking out the legs if you need it. Find a nice tall mountain stand, and then come into a one-legged variant by drawing the left knee up. Maybe hugging and staying, or adding a forward fold. Leading your way from here into a tree line on the right. When you're ready, and we're just going to hold centered prayer hands today. And we're going to pick the leg line on the right that resonates for us. Settle in, center yourself. Re-anchor your feet in mountain. Relax your hands to the tops of your thighs and find a forward fold into table. Stay here or drop through the table line, coming into a forward fold. Pause here for a moment in your fold. And then think about how you're going to come into an easy sit from here. Maybe starting to soften the knees, stepping back the left leg, and then tucking the right in front of the left. We're going to come into a working twist and fold, and we'll play right side first. So you're going to twist towards the right, grab your opposite hand to leg, and then add a forward fold. And you're going to do that maybe 5 or 6 times, trying to keep both bum bones anchored throughout. End in the fold, pause. Rinse and repeat, or do the same, but this time from a half lotus line, tucking your right foot up and placing it on the top of the left thigh, and then begin to play 1 twist, 1 fold. End in the fold, hold it. Open up from here to a straddle line. Finding your seat and beginning to play 1 twist to the right, 1 fold. We're going to hold the next fold, making sure our legs are extended with the feet actively braced. Then tuck back into easy sit, this time left leg in front of right. Check your bum bones, and when you're ready, start to play 1 rotation to the left and then 1 fold to the middle. And your fold can be as deep or as shallow as you need it. You could even place a block or a pillow on the floor to assist your fold. Let's hold the next fold. Knee back up. Repeat or find your half lotus line before you start to play with that twist and that fold. Let's end in the fold. Hold it. Then open up into your straddle line. Take a moment to find it. And then when you set up, start to play. One rotation to the left and one fold down the center line. We're going to end in the fold and we'll pause there for a moment. We're going to be back up and find our way from here into corpse pose. Maybe bringing the legs in, giving them a shake up, dropping down onto the elbows, and then onto the back, splaying the arms and the legs slightly out, closing the eyes, taking the focus inward, and just starting to slow the pattern of our breath. A big inhale in, big exhale out. Start to slow that breath down. Keep your eyes closed and your focus inward. On your next inhale, visualize all your apprehensions and anxieties being sucked in, like a kitchen extractor fan sucking in the smoke from a burnt dinner. On your exhale, release a fine, warm mist of calm and confidence. Inhale in your anxieties and apprehensions. Exhale calm and confidence. Keep that breath going as you internalize the truth of the next few words. Self-belief is a superpower. Once you start to believe in yourself and find confidence, the magic starts to happen. Believe, and half the work is already done. Believe, and you have already won before you have begun. Sometimes you just need to push past comfort and test the things that frighten you just a little. With those thoughts, let's end off our practice for today by simply nodding chin to chest and internalizing the words Namaste. See, recognize, acknowledge your true self. Find that confidence, find that belief in self. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. Till next time, keep it light.